So with the journal, I don't feel any confidence that they're going to consider what I think is the most important evidence, that there was no plane impact. And as far as the consensus panel is concerned, I'm even more certain that they're not going to help with that, because I know that in the time that all the years they existed, they didn't even once, and Elizabeth admitted this to me in an email, that they never even considered a question about what did the damage at the Pentagon. So they didn't even, it's not that it was voted down.
It is the consensus panel, and clearly there's no consensus on the Pentagon. If there's
well, I would strongly disagree with you, Sandra.
Well, no, I'm just but the fact that there's even a debate, the fact that there is this split, shows that there is no consensus among people as to what happened. I agree with you that it in general, I think it does lean heavily towards no plane at the Pentagon. But, you know, there is obviously, clearly there's disagreement with it, because some people do support a plane at the Pentagon for their own reasons.
Can you believe that 22 years after the events of September 11, 2001, that we still have people, so-called truthers in the truth movement, who make rooms based on 9/11 truth with the word truth in it, and they still believe that you'll have some random nobody who has no work of his own, who you never heard of before, will basically be taken as an authority and given 2 hours on a platform to debate upon what he wasn't even there for. Why would you listen to the ramblings of somebody, a self-proclaimed truther, give him the title of an authority to debate on a platform about what happened or what didn't happen at the Pentagon? This is the problem of the truth movement today, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and 20 years ago. You allowed people to join your ranks and to espouse these proclamations, which are based on nothing more than one's fantasy. Instead, you were more worried about quantity rather than quality, because you wanted the numbers, and the numbers screamed the loudest. But also, you got to be wary of people who hijack your movement to espouse theories like this. Well, then what happens is the public looks at you, the media looks at you, and then they make a judgment, and you're not taken seriously. Fast forward to 2023. Where's the truth movement? I went to Ground Zero last year. Guess how many there were? Probably about 10. Yelling in a bullhorn, screaming about inside job, what happened at the World Trade Center, never leaving Ground Zero. And if you talk about the Pentagon, you talk about Shanksville, yeah, well, the official count is wrong, but they won't go into details. The only thing that matters is evidence. Analytical, physical, and eyewitness evidence. If you were actually legitimate, if you were actually honest, nonpartisan, non-biased, you would look at the evidence and then make a judgment based upon using the scientific method regarding that evidence. But you already looked at 9/11, claiming that the government was involved. The official story is a lie, all of it. But you don't even know what that is. To you, the official story varies. Is it 19 Islamic fundamentalists hijacking 4 planes and crashing them into the Pentagon, Shanksville, and the World Trade Center? Or is it just the towers coming down by pre-planted, by natural free fall? Or is it a mixture of both? Or Were there Judy Wood space beams? Was there a bunch of Jews missing out of work at the World Trade Center? Was it basically holograms? Was it remote control planes with no hijackers? Were the phone calls fake? You could believe whatever you want, but do you know it? And this is the reason why you're there and people like me are here. And I'm not better than you. I just looked at the evidence, nothing more. I didn't use speculation or bias to dismiss evidence so that it could fit my narrative. Because you're ignorant regarding the juxtaposition and the whole broad spectrum of 9/11, the geopolitics. And because you're ignorant regarding this, you have to make up for it by saying that it doesn't matter about the hijackers. It doesn't matter about who, whether they were on the planes or not. So you only look at evidence, specific evidence, that fits or twisted to your narrative. Well, you're not a truther anymore. You're a hobbyist. You're somebody who's gardening for likes or for attention or for a certain demographic. I don't care who follows me. I don't care for a certain demographic. I only care about getting to the actual truth. And I don't need to use speculation or fantasy to tell me a story about what happened on 9/11. I let the evidence do that. That's why my channel is basically primarily all about eyewitness, analytical, physical evidence, not third-hand accounts. Prima facie evidence, or people who were actually there. Now, what you should have done was not give him a platform. You should have gave these eyewitnesses who were at the Pentagon and who all saw the plane crash into the Pentagon. It didn't fly over. It didn't crash into the heliport. It wasn't a missile. It wasn't a drone. It was an American Airlines plane that crashed into the Pentagon. And there's nothing you're ever going to do to change that fact. And what you should have done was allow these people to be on the debate platform or for on your shows, but you're afraid of what they'll have to say.
From my office, I was able to see a white jet, like a Gulfstream type commuter jet, I guess, just came at a high rate of speed. I can see National Airport's tower from our office.
Right.
And it just increased its speed as it got closer to the Pentagon, and then I just saw the big yellow ball of fire.
I saw it was an American Airlines 757, and it came in and hit the heliport, came down Columbia Pike and hit the heliport next to the Pentagon. I live in an apartment building on that side of the Pentagon, and it just crashed right into it. I don't know if it damaged the side of the Pentagon, but the Pentagon doesn't look that badly damaged, but I know it hit at least the heliport on the side of the Pentagon.
You said it was a 757. How could you tell?
Airlines.
How could you see that?
Yes, I could see it. And my roommate is an airplane person, and he saw it too. I mean, we saw the whole thing.
Okay.
Did it didn't come out of National? It came in from the west.
It came right down Columbia Pike.
Came right down Columbia Pike.
Low and with throttles on.
With the full throttle?
Yeah. He actually added power right by the Sheridan.
And that's what we heard from Don as well. Added power and went straight for the Pentagon. So this was no accident.
And I saw a plane just coming right in front of my window, flying at a path that the commercial planes do not fly, not coming into the direction to land at National Airport.
How big was the plane?
It certainly looked larger. Every once in a while there's a flight path difference for smaller private planes. that come in. This was not a small, private-looking plane. It looked more like sort of a commuter-type plane.
And you said
But it was sizable, yes.
And then you said it was.
And I was sitting in my living room, and my building started shaking, and I knew that no plane supposed to make my building shake. Well, when I turned around and looked up, I see this plane, and I agree with the young lady that was just speaking. It was like a 757.
I was in the Overlook apartment, and I was doing some exercise, jump roping, and this plane came increasingly fast, almost close enough to, if it headed this direction, hit the building that I'm in, which is an 8-story building. But it was aiming for in the direction of the Pentagon, and then all of a sudden I see this puff of smoke, and I just ran over to Columbia
so you didn't actually
to get a better view of it.
So Charles, you didn't actually see it hit, you just saw it to a point and then you saw the smoke?
I just saw this plane coming very, very fast, going in that direction as I was listening to you guys.
It was about 9:35, and I was looking out our 12th floor windows at 1600 Wilson Boulevard in Rosslyn, Virginia, and I watched this. It looked like a commuter plane, 2-engine, come down from the south, real low, proceed right on and crashed right into the Pentagon.
Went directly into the Pentagon?
That is correct. Plane, I watched it come in very low over the trees, and it just dipped down, came down right over 395, right into the Pentagon.
And are you fairly sure that it was what we sometimes describe and recognize as a small commuter plane?
Yes, it was.
Good.
I saw a plane going down, big plane, commercial liner type, going down full speed and just inside the side of the Pentagon.
Tell me a little bit about the size of the plane. Did you see any commercial markings, any markings at all on the plane?
I didn't see any marking because it was, we just saw the underneath portion of it. So, and it just, as I said, was going full speed. So we didn't have time really to see anything, plus with the trees, you know. But it was a big plane, maybe 737. My husband said 747, but I'm not positive. I don't know for sure. But it was big.
As we were driving into town on 395, there was an exit. We were trying to get off the exit for the Memorial Bridge. Off to the left-hand side was a commercial plane that came in and was coming too fast and too low. And the next thing we saw was it go down below the side of the road, and we just saw the fire.
How low was the plane?
When it was coming down?
Yeah.
It was coming down on less than a 45-degree angle, and coming down toward the side of the 395. And when it came down, it just missed the 395 and went down below it, and then you saw the fire come up from it.
Were you able to see what kind of plane or what airline it belonged to?
No, I did not see what kind of an airline. I just assumed because we were so close to the airport, it was coming into land.
But it seemed awfully low to you.
Yes, and fast.
I was passing by Fort Myer, and I saw a large airliner-sized plane, roughly a 767-size airliner, very deep descent, approaching the Pentagon. As I didn't actually see the impact, but I did see, hear the blast, and saw the smoke rising from the crash later.
Have you seen debris also? Describe what you've seen over there.
It just seemed like parts of the landing carriage or possibly the engines.
Well, traffic was very heavy this morning, so it was bumper to bumper. We were all stopped. I was probably about 100 yards from the Pentagon when I heard this screaming sonic boom and saw the jet come screaming across the highway. It was an American Airlines jet, silver with the markings along the windows, and within seconds it hit the side of the Pentagon. My first thought was, my God, it's coming in so low for landing at National.
Omar, you say this was a smaller plane, 10 to 15 passengers maybe?
No es muy grande.
No es muy grande.
It's not like too big, it's just...
¿Tú sabes los aviones comerciales?
It's like business aeroplane.
Like a business jet, and it was a jet.
Yeah, it's like a business aeroplane.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And what did you see the aircraft do?
It's come very fast down, it moved, then it goes straight to the buildings.
What color was it?
It's like white on the top, it's like blue color downstairs.
White on the top and blue on the color.
It's not like blue, like white blue. Como los aeroplanes de aquí, de América.
American Air.
Como así.
Algo así como los de la United, you know.
He said like a United States aeroplane.
Okay. Are you an eyewitness as well?
Well, we only seen the back part as it was going over our building. And
what's your name?
Mark Eason.
And what did you see, Mark?
Just the plane. We were upstairs and from the window, and we heard the rumbling first, and then the plane just flew over top of us. It was so low that everything just...
Where were you?
On Columbia Pike.
I was just casually looking out the corner, out of the window. In the corner of my eye, I saw what looked to be maybe a 20-passenger corporate jet, no markings on the side, coming in at a shallow angle like it was landing right into the side of the Pentagon. And then a huge fireball, perhaps 5 times the height of the Pentagon. No, I was across 395 from the Pentagon in an office tower with, you know, a direct view of the Pentagon.
And kind of describe the trajectory. The plane was aimed straight at the building?
It was aimed straight at the building. There was an angle, perhaps. It looked like it was landing. I couldn't tell if the landing gear was up or down. I don't know if it was taking off.
And I'm at a very large window, and I turned around and looked, and I saw the silver 757, it looked like to me, veering from the registered course over the Potomac River, and it had no landing gear down, and it was coming very, very rapidly, and then it took a dive, maybe a couple of miles, maybe over Roslyn. It took a dive into this building. And
Mr. Timmerman, are you with us right now?
I sure am.
You're a pilot. Tell us what you saw.
Well, I was looking out the window. I live on a 16th floor overlooking the Pentagon and the corner apartment, so I have quite a panorama. And being next to National Airport, I hear jets all the time, but this jet engine I heard was way too loud. I looked out to the south, to the southwest, and it came right down 395, right over Columbia Pike. And as it went by the Sheraton Hotel, the pilot added power to the engines. I heard it spool up a little more. And then I lost it behind a building, and then it came out, and I saw it hit right in front of, it didn't appear to crash into the building. Most of the energy was dissipated and hitting the ground, but I saw the nose break up, I saw the wings fly forward, and then the conflagration took, just engulfed everything in flames. It was horrible.
What can you tell us about the plane itself?
It was a Boeing 757, American Airlines, no question.
You say that it was a Boeing, and you say it was a 757 or 767. It's hard.
757.
757,
yeah,
which
American
of course
Airlines.
is American Airlines, one of the new generation of jets, and of
right.
course,
it was not. It was so close to me. It was like looking out my window and looking at the helicopter. It was just right there.
We were told that it was. We were told that it was flying so low that it clipped off a couple of light poles on its way in.
That might have happened behind the apartments that occluded my view. And when it reappeared, it was right before impact. And like I said, I saw the airplane disintegrate and then just blow up into a huge ball of flames.